all times. The mute is located typically on the bottom left of your screen. If there's a line through it, we can't hear you, which is exactly how it should be, so that we can hear the information that is going to be shared with us tonight. If you have a question during the presentation, please make sure that you open up the chat box. Don't come off of mute. Open up the chat box and look for, under the to section, look for Meredith's name or my name, Desiree Ramirez, and privately send us those questions and we'll field them as time allows. And then again, just please make sure that you stay muted during our presentation that we're going to get started with here in just a few minutes.
Right. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad that we got to put this together. I know you're going to hear a lot of important information tonight and be able to ask questions. And I first want to thank Meredith and Desi and our PTA for all the support that they give us. It's a tremendous partnership that we have with our PTA, and our school wouldn't be what it is without it. So thank you too for helping tonight and monitoring the questions so that we can get all those answered. And as Ms. Ramirez said, is this will be recorded and I'll put it out there in a Google link and on our YouTube channel so that if you know of someone that didn't get an opportunity to join tonight, they can go back and watch this video. And before we get into the official presentation for our senior parents, I just want to remind you that we have been so close to being the #1 in the state of Texas as far as PTA membership. And that is one of the things that sets Richardson High School apart from many, many other schools in the state of Texas. So I would encourage you and invite you, if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, to visit rhspta.org. You can still join, and I know that we're still ordering t-shirts, and who wouldn't want to join and get that free t-shirt, right? Because, you know, we sign up for credit cards or whatever it is at events just for the free t-shirt. So here we have an opportunity to do that. And then, you know, help the school out and strengthen that partnership. So we'd appreciate those of you who are interested in that to go to rhspta.org and do that. And yes, the shirts are so cute. Someone put that in the chat. So there you go. But again, welcome tonight. If I've not had the privilege of meeting you yet, I'm Chris Choate, the principal of Richardson High School. And we are in the middle of a very interesting year. I want to say to you that I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your patience as we navigate through this school year. Truly, it's consistent with last spring that decisions and information is coming out pretty close to when you need to know it. And that is not how we usually operate. We usually try to get information out not only about seniors, but school in general. But as we've learned, is things are often dictated for us based on, you know, local and state policy, and we're still in the middle of that, and we still follow that. And so I appreciate your patience, as that's how it's going to be for a little while. Hopefully we'll get back to normal very soon. But I do want to introduce two RHS wonderful staff members that's going to be sharing information with you tonight. With us tonight, we have our senior principal, Elise Curry, and then also our college and career counselor, Cassandra Clay. I want to say before we get started that when you look at data drives everything we do, and when you look at the data, these two staff members are invaluable to our school, because the success we have with our seniors, with Dallas County Promise, with getting into college, to getting students graduated, to all of the things that a senior can experience. There's no one better than this team. And I want to say that I'm very appreciative of them. And I know that you're going to get a lot of valuable information out of the presentation tonight. So with that said, I know you did not log on here to hear me. You wanted to hear from Miss Curry and Miss Clay. So we're going to get it started with Miss Curry, and she will get right into the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am the senior principal, so all of your questions and concerns all come to me. I am in my 30th year in education. This is my 22nd year in RISD. I am honored to lead this class, the class of 2021, through their senior year. Now, information that I'm going to share tonight is very important. This information is going to hopefully help you to keep your child on track. Not only to keep your child on track, the information, of course, coming to you will help you to better understand what the senior year is all about. My door is always open to you to answer any questions that you might have. Physically right now, it might be a little closed, but it is open. You can always call me. You can email me. So many of you guys I have talked with on the phone. I have shared information with your kiddos, answering questions for them, and I am happy to be here to guide you through the senior year of the class of 2021. We'll start with the end in mind. Well, graduation has been scheduled. It is scheduled for May 30th. Of 2021. It's at 8 a.m. in the morning. Now that's a very early start. And when we get closer to graduation, 1 month before graduation, I will send out the details of how we will implement graduation as far as making sure your child is where they need to be, they have on the right attire, information to share with your family as far as seating and everything goes. If this information changes, absolutely, we will keep you updated as we receive information from the district. Our location currently is the Curtis Caldwell Center that is in Garland, and it absolutely is a wonderful event center to host graduation. We've had graduation there for many years, so we look forward to having graduation on the 30th of next year in May for our seniors. I want to give you some important information many of you guys possibly know about, and some of you do not. The way to stay in touch with everything that's going on with your child is to actually use our Parent Hub. Our Parent Hub is one resource of information in which parents can access everything about Richardson High School. The Parent Hub can be found on, if you go to RISD and go on Richardson and click on Parent Hub, you can actually access this page. With the Parent Hub, information that you will find on there is teacher information, anything about your child. You can go under the content and find that teacher. There's a picture of the teacher. There's a Google Classroom information. If you are looking for information about what's going on in their class, or maybe you need to reach out and contact the teacher, you will find their email addresses. You will find both the Gmail email address and the RISD. I would encourage you, if contacting a teacher, especially an administrator, please use the RISD email. We have both of those, but we constantly look at our RISD email. So to avoid any delays, make sure you use the RISD email. We will receive it. Or all telephone numbers are listed on this page for every staff member. So that's real important when you're looking for your child's content information, if you need to touch bases with the teacher. I've included this year a senior page. On the senior page, I will post information that is being shared with the students, information that's shared with PTA, and any information that I have and which I need to get to the parents will also be on this page. It might be your first source of information when looking for something as far as seniors are concerned. It is listed under the Senior Information tab. You can find information about your counselors, the college advisors, campus announcements, calendars, and even bail schedules, even the early release bail schedule, which we will have tomorrow. So please make sure that you go to the Parent Hub page. It is a new page. It is filled with information. It's updated, and it's a great resource for you to have. Now, thinking about keeping your seniors on track, many of you have shared with me, how do I keep my child motivated? It is a challenge this year to keep your child engaged and pushing forward towards their graduation. I want to go back and look at some things in which I've talked with the seniors, and I always encourage them to do. Why are you in school? Well, the main purpose for most students is not to stay in school. They've been doing that for 12 years. It is to actually graduate. And what is the next phase? We need to have a bridge from high school to whatever career pathway they might have. That could lead us to the pathway of college, or it might lead to military, or going into a career. This is a year to build that bridge and make sure that the students can cross that bridge, and we're going to guide them across it. So if you're having problems with motivating your kiddo, maybe start with some type of plan of what the future looks like, because they need to be reminded of their future. Their future is very important to us. In order to plan out this future, I encourage all of the seniors to take a college visit. Many of the colleges, if you schedule them, will allow you to do a college visit. Try to take a college visit, and you have 2 to take. You had 2 the junior year and 2 for your senior year. And we must follow the steps, and I'll go over those. But when you set up a college visit on the campus, make sure you're asking a lot of questions. The buildings can't tell you anything about the campus other than the campus is either a very large campus with big buildings or a small campus with smaller buildings. So please take the college visits possibly when the campuses are open, or take a virtual tour of the campus. Questions, if I were you, in which I did with both of my kiddos when they went off to college, ask questions as, what is your child going to major in? Make sure you set up an appointment with college advisors to talk about that major. Talk about the careers in which this major will lead to. See if the college has internships. It's very important for a college to offer students some type of internship. Without internships, a student will graduate, and then their first job will ask them, do you have experience? Without experience or a pathway to get that experience, they need to have that to actually obtain a job. A lot of colleges are working with students, but you have to ask those questions about internships while you're there. Have the students to visit the dorms. The dorms are a big part of their lives, and they need to know the living arrangements. Making sure that you can secure a dorm is very important, because the dorms on large campuses will run out very quickly. So make sure you have that information. Talk about how do they select the roommates. It's important to know how roommates are selected, and if you can select the roommate for them. All of these are questions when you're on your college visit to ask the college advisors. In order to code this as a college visit, there are 2 steps in which you should take. The first step, parents, is before you go on the college visit, you need to send me an email or a handwritten note with your child's name, the name of the college, and the date in which you plan to take that college visit. Once you've returned from the college visit, make sure while you were there, you stop by either the admissions office, the advisor in which you were meeting with, or someone on that campus to get a letter on college letterhead with your child's name on it and the date on there to ensure that they will be able to submit this information. With those two pieces of information, we can actually code it as a college visit. It is extremely important that your child gets to visit the college. Sometimes just Googling a college will not provide you with all the information. Make sure you check on graduation rates. You want to see how many students are coming in and how many students are actually graduating. We don't want them to homestead in college because it can be a very, very expensive vacation.
Ms. Curry,
Yes.
can I ask, a couple of people about the visits have asked about virtual visits that may be scheduled during the school day. And
Yes.
does that same information apply for like a actual face-to-face visit? Would all that information apply for a virtual if they need to do it during the school day? And what process do they need to do for that?
Okay, it will be the same process. Send me the note before you actually go on the visit, either face-to-face or virtual. If you are doing a virtual visit, they are going to send you an email confirmation with your information. And at the end of a virtual visit, they will send you a letter stating you have completed the virtual visit. So make sure you obtain that information. It would apply either way, either face-to-face or virtual.
Ms. Curry, one more question about college visits. So for college visits, before, if a student was in a magnet program, they went through the magnet principal for college visits. Is that still a thing? Is there a magnet principal, and is that who they would contact for that?
There is a magnet principal, but all seniors, all 603 seniors will go through my office.
Okay. Perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, in order for a student to get to college, here's the motivation here, guys. We have to get them to graduate. Your child is going to graduate. I have been emailing some, I've called others, but we are going to keep that fire lit under them so that they will graduate. To graduate, to go across the stage and receive a diploma, we do a name verification. Normally, this is done in person. This year, we're going to do it all totally online. In order to verify the names, I must have the correct name. This is extremely important when looking at diplomas, not just for the name and keepsake of the diploma, but we have to match up all school information. And this is how I make sure that it all matches up. Your diploma must match with your transcript, and that must match with all state records and school records. We don't want mixed names at all, because a college will get that information or the military will get that information and say that it's two different people. Here's an example. My son is actually Fred Lewis Curry III. Now, I never wanted to call him by the third, so I call him Trey Curry. Everyone in school always called him Trey. So I always had to make sure that all of his records did not have Trey Curry on them, but it actually had his official legal name, which is on his birth certificate, which is Fred Lewis Curry III. It is extremely important that we clean up all names, and there might be some names that you have that are missing from your school record. There will be an online form on the Parent Hub, which I will open up tomorrow morning. It will not open until tomorrow morning on the senior information page on the Parent Hub. You will be asked to complete this. I want parents to complete it to match it up with what is on the birth certificate. If you have had a legal name change, make sure you have submitted that legal name change to the school so we can correct all records, because it is a process to get them to all match up. I will ask that you put in the child's first name, middle name, and some students have multiple names. Their first name is one, they might have two middle names, and then some students have multiple last names. Please list them all. Please do not forget if in your last name, like my son, had a suffix of the third, please include that in the last name. The student ID number, because we've had students that have exactly the same first, middle, and last name. So please include your child's school ID. And at the last thing, it's another part of this. It says that you have verified it and it is correct. Because with the name verification, we will order the diplomas on there. And we want to make sure that on your child's diploma and in the graduation program, it all matches up with the right name. It is very important for us to make sure your child's name is spelled right and pronounced right at graduation. So tomorrow morning, this will go live. When the form goes live, I'm not going to close it until the very last day of November. So it will remain open for a month, and I will remind you to actually complete this because I would like 100% of all of the students, all 603 seniors, to complete this so we can make absolutely positively sure that we have the right names on the diplomas and matching up to move forward into the next phase. Senior pictures. Our seniors' pictures were taken over the summer. Many of you guys completed senior pictures over the summer. Some of you completed your senior pictures on Senior Roundup Day, which was the 16th. But then there were some that were not able to complete them over the summer or come up on the 16th. So I have added an additional Roundup Day. It is very important to me to make sure that all of our seniors are included in the yearbook. The yearbook pictures, as you can see here on the screen, is a formal picture. The guys are in tuxedos and the young ladies look as if they are in a formal gown. This picture is the picture in which we include in the yearbook. The senior last final makeup is going to be, yes, this Saturday on October the 31st. It's going to be at the high school in the large gym from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. If you have not taken these pictures, let me explain some little tips to help you with those. The young ladies, we ask that you wear a tank top. A tank top is easily to drape across you without removing your clothes to have that drape on. Young men, we ask you to wear a white t-shirt under your attire so that you can put on the tuxedo, the faux tuxedo shirt and jacket to take the pictures. This year, we have included for parents not only the formal picture, but we are also ensuring that all students have a cap and gown picture. Those pictures were taken either at the studio or at the school. There is no sitting fee to have it done at all. So please, if you have not gotten your senior picture taken, please come up to the school anytime between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. this Saturday to take your pictures. All proofs will be sent to the parent email. Parents, please make sure that you're checking your emails. Those are sent out anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks after they have taken the pictures. They will send those proofs. There's no obligation to purchase those, but I'm sure you will really like those pictures and want to buy them. So they will be sent to your emails. So please look for those. If you would like to call the studio, the telephone number to call the studio is 972-669-9200. And they can answer any questions that you might have pertaining to pictures that have been previously taken, but all pictures will be sent to the parent email to purchase.
Ms. Curry, couple of questions about photos. One, parents were asking about choosing the one for the yearbook, like which pose. Is that something they should call the studio and talk to them about?
Okay, so the picture for the yearbook is generally, if you purchase pictures, they usually select from those. The photographers will they are professional photographers, will select the best photo of your child because they're looking at everything. They're looking at their hair, they're looking at the lighting, they're looking at their eyes, they're making sure everything is in the best possible light for your child to shine in the yearbook. So the selection is basically done by the professional photographers for the yearbook.
Okay, and then another question is, can someone come up on Saturday to retake their photos if they did not like their proofs
Okay.
that they've previously taken? Like, can they come up and retake Saturday?
So for retakes, please make sure that you inform them that you have taken photos, and you need to call to make sure that they can accommodate you and have your information, because there's a little information card that they have to take your picture. So please make them aware of that by calling the number 972-669-9200.
I know that some people are having trouble. I think the studio may be experiencing some overwhelming, and they're not necessarily answering or responding. So do you think it might be best for that situation, maybe for that person just to come up on Saturday and ask?
They can come up and ask, and if they can accommodate them. One, extremely important, we are always putting student safety first. That is the most important thing for us the entire school year. So with the photos, I want to mention that every item is being sanitized between each use. It is steamed and sanitized. They are doing this to ensure the safety of all students. And we are practicing social distancing as we're taking those pictures. Now that we know that the pictures will be in the yearbook, because we're including all of them by getting those pictures taken one last time this weekend, the yearbooks are on sale and the current price is $70. Please make sure you purchase them as quickly as possible because our price tends to go up as the year goes along. If you would like to buy a senior yearbook ad page, a special page that you can design just for your child, please make sure you do it before November the 13th. All of the senior ad pages are handled directly through our company, Jostens, which designs the yearbook. I've listed their web page, their web address on here. You will design the entire page, uploading your photos, your message, everything is done through the company and not here on campus. I've listed the prices. This is a time in which you can say a lot of cute things to your kiddo, wish them well, share a lot of photos of them. I would keep it a secret. I would not tell the senior. I did not tell either of my kids that I purchased them a page, and they were surprised when they got their yearbook, and there were a lot of baby pictures, fun pictures of them throughout the years, and a very special message from mom and dad. So if you would like to purchase this, make sure you go to jostensadservices.com and purchase that page. Now, you don't have to purchase a full page. You can purchase a half a page, a fourth of a page, or even an eighth of a page. The prices are listed there so you can decide. I've had some seniors that were very close to each other to purchase pages together, and they split a page together and put the pictures. You have to upload it at one time and put the names on there, but all of that is not done through the school, and the deadline is November the 13th. And to purchase your yearbook, you also purchase your yearbook online. We do not collect any funds for the yearbook, and all of those need to be purchased. So even if your child says to you, I don't want a yearbook, please get them one, because 20, 30, 40 years from now, they want to remember how they looked in that yearbook. So please make sure you get them a yearbook to remember this 2021. It's a moment to remember. Let's look at the class of 2021 graduation items. The company in which we use and which we have used for many years is Balfour. All of our orders will be either placed online or at the store. The way in which you purchase these is to actually go to dallasbalfour.com. It's extremely important that you put dallasbalfour.com. Do not enter now. They are not finished updating the page and the website. Yes, you can get on it, but it doesn't go anywhere once you get to the purchase part of it. They will release it, hopefully, and I put that in little highlighted there. It's going to be ready and up rolling November 2nd to actually complete for the cap and gown purchases. Now, when looking at what do you need for graduation, once you go to this website, you will find everything from t-shirts to sweatshirts to towels to books, all kinds of things. The main thing that you need for graduation is the cap and gown unit. The cap and gown unit includes the cap, the gown, the tassel, and there's a class of stole. It has the class year on it. That is all included for one price. And that can be purchased, the cap and gown unit. Usually it starts out around $65. You do have to add on shipping and handling and tax onto it, but that is the starting price of it. The price usually does not increase until February. It's usually February 1st when it will increase. All gowns, regardless of the address that you put on there, will ship to the school. They send all of the gowns to the school and they are shipped here in the spring and we will give them out. Now, if you had a child that graduated previously from Richardson High School, it is okay to use their cap and gown. Please make sure that that child it's not more than 4 years ago, because we changed the color of the gowns. The color used to be a bluish purple, and now it is a true purple, and it will be a mismatch in the line. And we want all of our gowns to look the same because the previous color does stand out. If you're ever in doubt of the color, I have a hat in my office that's the wrong color, and we always compare it to that one. So if you ever just want to come up, and I'll come to the front, if you need to match up that cap, absolutely do that. Here's another thing. If you are only purchasing a class of stole and maybe a tassel, I would strongly suggest do not order that until the spring. Do not order it online if you're only buying the white class of stole and the tassel. I would want you to avoid paying an additional shipping and handling on that. So you can purchase those directly when they ship them to us. I will have some of those, or at the store, you can purchase those in the spring. The other most important thing to look at when you're ordering graduation items are the announcements. The announcements are very nice invitations in which you can use to send out to friends and family. Most times, students will include in their graduation announcement a picture. Now, this can be one of the pictures that was taken by our photographers, or if you have another picture you would like to include in there, you can do so. But that is usually what we use the announcements. Our announcements, we've worked with this company for many years, and we know that buying things in bundles can lead to waste. So if you want to buy one invitation or 500 invitations, you can. They break them down by invitation, the actual cost. And usually one invitation is around $1 and, if I'm not mistaken, it's $1.75 per invitation. And they're the nice ones with the seal on them. And those will be available. Those are custom invitations. So those do have to be ordered, and they will include the child's name in those invitations. So those are two key things when ordering your graduation items to look for: the graduation announcement and the cap and gown unit, which the units will be shipped to the school and we'll give them out in the spring. Let's talk about GPA. With keeping your child motivated, it is important to keep those GPAs up, because even if a student is accepted into college, they are temporarily accepted until they actually graduate, and they're looking at those GPAs. So we don't want a student to drop with their GPA and it knocks them out of being accepted into their college. Students will receive their GPAs basically twice a year. They will receive them in their Naviance account in the fall, and they will get them at the end of the year when they have officially graduated. Only our top 10 students will actually have a numerical rank. The numerical ranking of our top 10 will not come until the third grading period. That is when we announce our top 10 and our honor students.
Is that top 10% or just the top 10
The
students?
top 10 will receive ranking. Our district did away with actually all others having ranks on them. So the top 10 will actually be ranked from 1 to 10, listing on there. All students will have a GPA in which they will have their cumulative GPAs. Let's take a look at honor students. Honor students, it is for a student that has maintained a 90 or above. Now that's a 90 or above from 9th through 11th grade, and also into their senior year, their first semester, and the third 9 weeks. So after that third 9 weeks, we determine honor students. For the GPA, it is very difficult for me to tell a kiddo that I'm sorry you're not an honor student, because we do not round up those GPA grades. It has to be a 90 exactly or above. It cannot be an 89.999999. It has to be a 90. It is determined by our district after that third grading period. We will determine the top 10 and the honor students. An honor student will get to purchase a gold stole that actually has honor student on it. Those stoles will not be available for purchase until we have determined which students are honor students. So they will not be available until the spring in the senior office. The cost of those will be $25. And the reason why we charge students for those is because the student is actually going to keep the stole. So make sure you're encouraging your child to keep their GPAs up to possibly be an honor student.
Ms. Curry, a couple of questions about that. Does the honor, does that include quality points?
Okay, so quality points are not added until the end of a semester. So at the end of the third 9 weeks, whatever it is, at that point when they are calculated by the district, will determine if that student is an honor student based on their GPA. So it's very important to remember those points are not added until this credit has been earned. Service Learning Award. The Service Learning Award is a award that's given to seniors that have earned at least 60 hours of service during their high school years. Many students get this misinterpreted. It is not required for graduation. It is strongly encouraged that all students receive this due to the fact that on your college applications, They're asking about service. It might go into college. Different organizations in which you might be a part of will ask about service. So we encourage our students to actually be a part of a bigger purpose than themselves. Give back to your community. The service learning deadlines. In order to receive this award, you must have completed all of the 60 hours by March 31st of 2021. In order to log these hours, you must log them into X2Vol. You can find this on Naviance and actually get to X2Vol to log those service hours. Many students have been logging their hours for several years. Now, I verify and go through all of the hours for the entire school. So I usually don't do it every single day, but I usually try to do it at least once a month. And as we approach the deadline, I try to get them completed at least once a week as we're coming up to that March 31st deadline. But I do the entire campus, so be patient with me. I will get those logged. We've been working on doing some updates on X2Vol, so we have not verified anything that was completed over the summer up to now. I will get those in, but make sure your child actually logs them into there. They must be submitted by April 1st. So the hours must be completed by the 31st, and then everything has to be logged onto it. All students that complete at least 60 hours will receive the medallion. There's not a set number of hours in which you must complete during your senior year. It states that all the hours are to be completed from 9th through 12th grade. There was a guide breakdown in which some people confuse with how many they have to get each year, but there's no set amount in which a student has to receive each year. I posted.
We have a couple of questions about those real fast.
Yes.
Is it still 60 hours given with COVID and summer?
Okay.
And then also where can they log in to see how many hours they already have just in Naviance?
Okay, under X2Vol though.
Okay.
Under X2Vol, many students have logged hours previously, like 9th, 10th, 11th grade. They can log in and it will tell them how many hours are in there. They must be verified and accepted on there. I have created a little checklist to help you know what is an hour, a volunteer hour, what is not a volunteer hour. And this is just a guide for you to work through if you're thinking, oh, can my child do this? Can they do that? With COVID, of course, they have not given us an updated reduction of the hours. And usually that is a discussion in which we will have in January to make sure that students have opportunities. There are some online opportunities for students to receive hours. There's one in which I really like. It's an app that helps for the blind. You are a reader for people that are blind, or writing letters to people in the nursing home. There are many different ways in which you can still do online service and log that service. Please make sure that you're sending the email. When you log your information, it asks you to include an email address. That email address goes to the person in which you have completed the service with, that allows them to verify yes or no that you've completed that and how many hours you actually have completed with them. And then it's submitted to the school. Remember, if an email address is not included in there, it will never get back to the school that you have completed it. So make sure you check to make sure you have included the email address, especially if it's just sitting there. Check to make sure that you have that email address in there. Celebration of our seniors. We want to celebrate our seniors. There are many things that we've taken steps to encourage and keep our seniors uplifted. We have added college logos to all of our stairways to encourage them to find their school in there. All of the colleges across the United States are listed there. There are many different ones. This was a special project that I wanted the school to implement, and I'm so happy that Mr. Choate agreed to it and made sure that we were able to get it before the students actually came back in. But we want to celebrate our students' acceptance into college. So once you have received a college acceptance letter, please make sure that you scan this so that we can do a special celebration of students that have been accepted into college. Now, if you've been accepted to multiple schools, each time you are accepted into school, make sure you scan it and fill out the information, because we want to celebrate our seniors each and every day. So this is a new addition to actually recognize and celebrate our students throughout the year. Our senior class officers, they have not released this information, so you are the first to receive this information about their senior t-shirts. The senior class has the job of planning things out for the senior class. And the class, their shirt this year for the class of 2021, this is the design. It's a SpongeBob logo, and they came up with this creative, wonderful design. We will post information about how to purchase the shirts on the senior class page, also on the Parent Hub. The short sleeve shirts will be black, just as you see here. They will cost $10, and the long sleeve shirts will be gray, and they will be $15. And they will be available through the senior class officers. We will post this information and make sure we update you when we're ready to release the sales. We're working with the company to ensure that we can do all online and get the information out to you guys as quickly as possible when it's available for those shirts to go on sale. But you are the first to receive this information because they have not released it to the class. Senior dedication. At the end of the year, it's a special time for senior dedication. Senior dedication is scheduled for May 16th, 2021. It's at RHS. It's at 2 p.m. This is a motivational time to celebrate the accomplishments and different awards that we have to present to our students. We will have the students on wearing graduation attire. They will be in their full gown with all their medallions that they've received. There's no ticket required at this time for this. We've never done it in the past. We have to follow the guidelines of the CDC, so we might have to change that. If so, we will update you on any changes to the senior dedication of how it will be presented. But it is held at the school, and we celebrate our seniors to celebrate their accomplishments. The military usually comes and presents a lot of awards. There are many outside companies that will present scholarships. This is when our PTA presents scholarships, and we just want to celebrate our students as much as possible. But this is our date that we have set, and it is at Richardson in the auditorium at 2 p.m. on May 16th, which is a Sunday, for our seniors. Now let's take a moment and look at graduation tickets. Now, if we end up having a perfect normal graduation tickets based on the number of students and the capacity of the event center is usually 10 tickets per family. Provided that we have cleared all of the guidelines by the state and the CDC, that is what we will release, is at least 10 tickets to each student for the event center. All of our tickets are free. We never have a cost. We never charge for them. We never randomly sell them. So please make sure you are never buying tickets. Tickets are free for graduation, but everyone is required to have a seat if we are at the event center. So there are 10 tickets for the event center, and each one must have a ticket. Please make sure your child is in attendance to all of their classes, and when they come on campus, they remain on campus. Our campus is a closed campus, so if your child tells you that they're leaving campus, that is not true. We do not have a senior skip day. That is not an official holiday approved by our board. So there's no such thing as a senior skip day. Your child might try to convince you that there is one, but there is not a senior skip day. I have provided a lot of information about the year. I will continue to share information with you as it becomes available to me. I wanted to take tonight to answer a lot of the questions that you were having about graduation, cap and gowns, to make sure that you know that I am here for you. I'm making sure that your child doesn't miss a beat as far as graduation or anything with senior events go. Mr. Choate is going to share a little more information about senior events at the end, but at this time, remember, we are focused on making sure that your child is safe and that there's a bridge from high school to their next phase of life, be it college, be it the military, or into a career. We want your child to be successful, and we are here for you. Anytime you have a question, please do not hesitate to email me, call me, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible.
Do you have time for a couple of quick questions that as we were going around, that I saw from the chat real fast?
Absolutely.
Okay. In terms of days for college visits, in the junior year, if they did not use their college visit days, can they use them in their senior year?
Okay. As I joke with students, only T-Mobile has rollover minutes.
Okay.
For the senior year, you only have 2. The state does not allow us to roll them over to their senior year and have 4. Try to schedule them. Look at our calendar, look at the school you want to. We have some holidays in there, possibly schedule them so that you do not miss school. Use those 2 days wisely as far as visiting the colleges.
Okay. Another thing is, will you be putting that presentation on the Parent Hub from tonight?
Mr. Choate is recording it, and we will upload it.
Okay. And then cords, like all the graduation cords, will those be handled through your organizations?
They are. All cords, there are many different cords, different organizations. They don't give those out until the spring. A lot of them have hours in which the student must obtain before receiving those cords. We try to give our students as much time as possible to complete all requirements to obtain the cords, but yes, they are given out by each different sponsor. I handle all of the honor stoles. Those are given out through my office.
All right. Okay, and those are going to get purchased, the cords, through each independent organization. I just saw a question come up. And then another one. Des, do you have any? No? Okay, I'm trying to look through. Oh, STAR. A couple of questions were about STAR. How does that look for the students last year and other years of STAR and this year?
Okay. With STAR testing, we will be giving STAR in December. We will have a STAR retest in December. All students are required to pass the 5 STAR tests. We will also have, for those students that have not mastered one area of the content for STAR, we will have retesting in the spring. And for the students, if there is a case in which we have a student that does not complete their STAR, those are individual direct telephone calls that I will make with the parents. Those are conversations I want to have directly with them regarding their child's performance as far as passing STAR or implementing the process. But it is a requirement by the state that all seniors that are going to graduate must pass all 5 STAR tests.
And then a last question is, a lot of people are asking, what are you guys hearing administration level about graduation? Like, what's the realistic, mentally preparing kids and students and things like that? And that might be more Mr. Choate, but I think people are just kind of trying to get a guideline and a guidance on what the plan is that you guys are hearing for graduation. Like, will it actually be physically in person, or is it going to be probably what they had last year?
Well, at this time, this is very early to determine that. Everything is based on the safety of our students and any changes with COVID. We do not have those definite answers. They did issue us a definite date for graduation. So it is set for May 30th. I can't tell you, how health-wise we're going to go if cases are rising or if they fall. We will definitely have graduation on the 30th at 8 a.m. in the morning. But that is to be determined, and we will keep you guys as updated as quickly as we receive that information. But at this time, there are no changes to graduation. It is set for the date that we issued.
And then Mr. Choate, the only other questions that I'm getting in the chat is about parking spots. And so I'm guessing you're going to handle that.
Yes, so the regular parking stickers that all students that drive to school, we're selling those now through Ms. Curry's office. We've been having conversations about the paid parking. We don't have a final plan on that, but there's a lot of change and a lot of things that happen daily on our campus. With quarantines and things like that. So, but we have started thinking about allowing our seniors to have that experience, because I know that's important to, to do the painting. So I will tell you that the conversation right now is going toward a flat rate for parking spots. We have so many spots, and we're thinking of doing a flat rate on that, sending out a link soon. I'm thinking second week of November at the earliest is when we would do that, and to gauge interest to see how many seniors and parents would be interested in that and go from there. But as far as a plan ready to roll out, we don't have that. I will tell you that those types of traditional experiences are very important to us, and we're going to try to provide all of those that we can. And it goes back to the graduation question. All of those things, senior dedication, graduation, our goal is to have the traditional experience like we've always had, but some of that's going to be determined. So with the parking spots and the paid spots, there'll be more information coming out soon about that.
Okay, and then if students come in just for athletics, do they need to buy a sticker as well for their cars?
Yes, they will need to buy a sticker, and I answered that for someone yesterday. They can, Ms. Curry, what are the normal times that you have them come in?
As soon as the door opens until the end of the school day, we can get that taken care of while they're on campus. Please remember, with our parking sticker, it tells us basically 2 things. It tells us that the student has a valid driver's license, and the most important thing, it tells us if they have insurance on those cars. So we want to create a safe environment for them. We have teenage drivers in that parking lot, and we want to make sure everyone's safe. So those are the 2 most important things, that they have a driver's license, not a permit, but an actual driver's license, and that they have insurance on that vehicle that they're driving. So we are available from the time we open until They leave, so if virtual students are coming in, they can get it while they're there, while they're on campus. Just make sure they take a picture of their license plate tag, because there's a little card that they have to fill out with the tag number and information about the car.
Can
And
you
bring
tell
it.
that, can you give that information one more time of how much and when to purchase and where?
Yes. The cost of the sticker is $10. It is purchased in my office with my secretary, Ms. Herrera. They will need their license, their insurance, a picture of their tag, the make and model of the car, and we can take care of it. It must be a valid driver's license and current insurance, and not a learner's permit.
And the deadline to get that done?
All year long, we'll have them available.
You're not going to start ticketing, I guess, is somebody's question. Or
I have a few questions over here too. Let me, do you have tentative dates for prom and carousel, Mr. Choate?
So I will tell you, and let me pull that up on my phone. Yes. So carousel, the save the date, and I will send, once we send this video out, we'll send these tentative dates out as well. March 6th
March 6th.
for carousel, and prom is April 9th.
And just to help parents guide them, on the Parent Hub, we're uploading tonight, it might already be there, a calendar to help remind when different things are coming up, and which those are also included on there, including ACT dates, SAT dates, just to help with planning of the senior year. There is a senior calendar that I've uploaded.
Did y'all see the cost of the parking sticker?
$10.
$10. Okay. And then I have one other thing that has to do with parking. So is there a plan for students who do not have a first period class, who do not get to school until 10 a.m. to enter through the doors by the parking lot, or will they have to continue walking all the way from the stadium lot around the school to the front office doors?
For right now, we're going to have to continue having them walk around.
Okay.
and how do virtual students purchase parking if they're just coming onto campus for athletics? Do you still want them to come to your office?
My office is very close to any events that they would be coming to for UIL. My office is very close to the large gym or to the MAC or that area. When they come on campus, when they were finished their activity in which they're completing, they can come by my office. And just remember, we're following those safety guidelines. So when students come in late, they still have to be checked and screened and make sure they're good to go. And we lock the doors for safety reasons. And that's why we have no one to monitor the health screening. So we're asking that they enter that front door for safety reasons.
All right. And Mr. Choate, I'm having trouble when I post and share the Parent Hub. It takes to a Google form and some people don't have access. Is there another link that you can send or put in the chat?
Yes,
To the Parent Hub. Thank you.
I'm going to put the bit.ly in there. Okay, while we're going to move forward, and I'll put the bit.ly in there that Meredith can share out, and we'll also include that the video and presentation and stuff. It'll take a while, so it'll be tomorrow when I share that out in a Google link and on YouTube. But for now, I want to go ahead and introduce Cassandra Clay, who is our college and career coordinator. She's going to give you an overview of all things college and career. She's not going to give you every detail because you want to go to sleep tonight. There's a lot involved in that. So the main thing is kind of a calendar overview and then her contact information. You've probably heard from your students that they've either met with her or been invited to, because she meets with every single student eventually. So at this time, Miss Clay, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Choate. Everyone, I am Mrs. Clay. I am your college and career advisor. Like Mr. Choate said, I do meet with every senior here on campus. They can schedule to see me. If I haven't seen them by a particular time in the year, I call them out and ask them, hey, what are your plans, whether they be college or career oriented? We're here to help them be successful. The counselors help them all the way up to graduation, and our plan as advisors are to help them after graduation. We have an advice text assistant here. His name is Mr. Ibarra. For any students or parents that feel more comfortable speaking Spanish, he's here to assist you guys with that. But when it comes to college and career planning, we're on one accord. We're aiming for success. A few things about our campus, and I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see my screen. I'm just going to talk a bit about our campus, and we can see the screen. About a few things about our campus. We're ranked #1 when it comes to Dallas County Promise. You guys have all heard me talk about the Promise Pledge and how important it is to not our students, but our district, especially with COVID, everything that's gone on with family incomes and how incomes change just at the drop of a hat. Students can obtain a tuition-free college degree by pledging through Dallas County Promise. It's for all of our seniors to take advantage of. If they don't need it, they don't have to use it. It doesn't hinder them in any kind of way. It's not binding. It's just another opportunity for our students to have for them to utilize if they do need it. It used to be that Promise only included the junior colleges, but there are now 7 universities that students can attend. And again, if you go through the pledge process, your student can graduate with a bachelor's degree, and they will graduate tuition free. I think the nation has tried to create a pathway for students and parents to feel more secure about not obtaining college debt, and trying to, mobilize a way to feel more comfortable about continuing your education. And Dallas County Promise is definitely a beneficial resource for our district. Richardson High School has ranked #1 for, I think, for the last 4 weeks, as far as this year is concerned. Out of 57 high schools that are involved with Dallas County Promise, we are #1 with getting our students pledged. So for those parents who have already assisted me with that process, because sometimes the kids need a little push, a little reminder to do some of the things that are required, and I appreciate you guys backing me up and just making sure that they get those things done. Again, we are ranked #1. We also have been ranked #1 as far as our FAFSA applications. Again, FAFSA is a resource paid for college. Over 95% of students will use scholarships, loans, or grants when it comes to going to college. And the FAFSA is the #1 form that students will fill out. Some students will only need to fill out the TASFA. If your student's not sure which one they need, they can contact me or Mr. Ibarra, and we'll walk them through that process. But for 2019 and 2020, Richardson High School ranked #1 again, with having over 87% of our students complete their FAFSA application. It's important. It's what we help you guys do. And when it comes to that whole process, I'm going to go over our screen here, but when it goes through, when we're talking about that process, just know that as an advisor, that's my job. I want you as parents to continue to work and so take care of your kids, pay the bills, do everything that you're doing. When it comes to college and career prep, my office is here to help them with everything that they need. I have the laptops, I have the printers, I have the scanners, I have the phones. So anything that they need when it comes to college and career prep, just send them my way. I've been here for 4 years, and this position has gotten much better. The resources have gotten much better, but I think that the parents have started to understand that that is what I'm here for. So if you need your child to do something, a parent will email me and say, hey, make sure Jonathan comes in and doesn't forget about his application to XYZ. Susie started her transcript process, and she needs you to help her finish it. So if you need your child to do something, don't hesitate to send me an email. I will pull your child out of whichever class that is not an elective, and we'll sit down and have a conversation. 90% of the time, I send them an email prior to our meeting, and I tell them, bring your laptop with you and bring your questions with you. That way we utilize our time the best way possible. At the end of this short PowerPoint that I have, there's a link that I've shared with all of your students. And you've either gotten an email from me or from Mr. Ibarra, but mainly from me, either an email or a text. And the QR code in there is for your students to set up a meeting. I don't mind meeting with parents as well, because I know we all want to feel secure with, at the end of the day, where our students are headed. So my job is to assist your student with their plans after they cross the stage, and that goes with the college application process from start to finish. I don't care which application it is, I can assist them with that. If you need me to talk to them about a specific college, just let me know. Admissions questions, do I fit in? Is this college for me? That's what we utilize Naviance for, and Naviance is where they'll do 90% of their college research. So when it comes to, you know, is this college for me? How to send my transcripts, letters of recommendation, what is my GPA? Where can I find my counselor information? All of that information is housed in Naviance. If your student is here at RHS, they already have a Naviance account, and by this time, if they've been on this campus, they should be familiar with Naviance as seniors. They know their login. They've utilized it for assignments that I sent them their junior year. They've gone from colleges I'm thinking about to colleges I'm applying to. All of that is on their Naviance account, and when it comes to college and career prep, whether they're using the Common App, Apply Texas, Naviance is going to be their one-stop shop, because that's the only way they can request those letters of rec. That's the only way they can get their transcript to their college and so forth. Again, the process of using Naviance should be very familiar with them, because they have so many assignments their junior year, and it should be just second nature to them by this time. My job is also to assist with financial aid. If you need your financial aid support, I'm here to help you and your student submit your financial aid. You schedule an appointment with me, bring your taxes in with your student and a laptop, and we'll still get that process done. This year, it's going to be a bit different. We used to have a big district-wide FAFSA event. We can't have that this year, so we are kind of toying around with different ideas, trying to see what we can do to make sure that we're still assisting you guys. I don't know exactly what the district is going to do, but Richardson High School will take care of our students and our parents, even if that means that we have to meet with 5 parents at a time, if we have to do a few Zoom meetings with 6 or 7 parents at a time, where, you know, we're playing with the idea, trying to see where our numbers are going to be at in a few weeks, and then you'll start to get those invites to different events that we'll be hosting here on campus. The spacing is going to be limited, but no doubt we'll get you all taken care of by our December 15th priority deadline. I'm sorry, January 15th priority deadline. Scholarships, how do we find scholarships? I can assist students with that, but most of the time scholarship research requires, it's a part-time job. It requires a lot of hours for students to put that time forward. It just requires a lot of dedication. For every 10 scholarship applications, students are probably going to get 1 or 2 of those. But I always tell my kids, money is money. Anytime you get $1,000, $500, you put it towards your college education, and that's going to assist you with your final cost. Career research. College is not for every kid. On October 14th, we did an all apply day. And on the all apply day, I did a brief summary of Naviance to make sure that my seniors knew how to get into Naviance, how to navigate through Naviance. But most importantly, I also had a career research piece in there, which requires students to understand that if I want to be a nurse, what else can I do with my nursing degree? If I want to be a mechanic, what else can I do with that mechanical degree? Do I have to go to school 4 years and learn about math, English, science, and history to have a plumber's license? Do I have to do that? Or can I start working on my career? It's about being successful and about utilizing your skills that help you be an asset to this country. ACT and SAT registration, how do I register? I help your students with that. If your students are on free or reduced lunch, they get application and exam waivers. And what I have been doing with that whole process is making sure that parents understand that your student doesn't necessarily have to be in the cafeteria and eat the lunch that's in the cafeteria. We get it. It's not their cup of tea. That's fine. But when it comes to utilizing the resources that you as a taxpayer have already put into, because this is a public school, utilize those resources and help your student get to where they need to get to. Application fees for a lot of Texas universities exceed $75. And after you've applied to 2 or 3 colleges, that's money. And if you can get those application fees waived because you now qualify for them for whatever reason, whether it be COVID, whether it be a decrease in your income, whatever it may be, if you qualify for those, fill out the application so I can assist your students the best I can. They get SAT and ACT waivers if they haven't used those, and application waivers, and also exam waivers for AP exams. I assist them with AP exam registration, talk to them about their scores and what their scores go towards, help them with their college app, and then accepted. Once they get accepted into a college, excuse me, once they get accepted into a college, we'll go over your financial aid paperwork and see apples to apples, which one of these colleges is best for me? How can I utilize my funds the best way? Next, we talked about Naviance, and the one thing I want you guys to understand is that Naviance does the research for you. This page here is a student's GPA, and I think the student's GPA was a 98. And I pulled up UNT Denton, just so you could see what Naviance does for your research. So the little blue person here is a student, and I am hovering over it, but I'm not actually in it. This is a presentation, but when you hover over your student's face, you'll be able to see their GPA and their SAT score. Up here, you can change SAT to ACT. And now that the students have gotten their ACT scores back, you can see where that student would fit in with ACT scores. But these are SAT scores. And once you hover over that blue face, it's going to show you their GPA and their SAT score. Excuse me. All of the check marks are students last year that are now at UNT Dallas. If you hover over a check mark that's next to your student's name, it'll show you what that student's GPA is and what that student's SAT score is. We'll never know who that student is because they don't share that information. But when your question is, do I fit in this school? Is my GPA, SAT, or ACT score where it needs to be? This is the best example you're going to be able to use. And every student has access to Naviance, so you can do your own research. If my student's face was down here, I would probably pick another school. But as a parent and as students, you guys can do that research on your own, but I am here to help you guys with that also. The next comparison is UTD, which is here in Richardson, Texas. And you can see the student is here. And of course, we have quite a few Richardson High School students there at UTD, preferably because it's super close, of course, but you can hover over another check mark and that'll show you again where you fit in at, where your student would fit in at. And you can do that with any college on Naviance. Make sure you add the college to your page. Most of your students know how to do that. If they don't, just send them in to see me and I will take care of it. Finally, here's my QR code. If your students need to see me, if you have questions for me, you can scan the QR code on Ms. Curry's website, on her hub page. There's a link to my hub page on there, and I'm also on the original Richardson High School hub page. You can click on my my college and career page, and it'll show you how to get connected with Blooms. And I send messages through texting, I send messages through your email, but you can also schedule a meeting here if you scan the QR code.
All right, you want a couple of questions?
Absolutely.
Okay, people were asking about the rank letter that they got if their child was in the top 10% last year.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year, they got that letter. What happens next if they want to apply to a school to have that top 10%? Does that letter go with them?
Okay, so that letter can be presented as a supplemental piece of information. So when it comes to your college applications, what makes that application complete is the application itself, paying for the application, sending your SAT or ACT scores, and then of course your transcript. If I'm in the top 10%, I send that letter as an additional supplement piece of material.
Okay, is that same for UT? Somebody's asking about UT with the top 6% to ask that additional.
Absolutely.
All right, and then is RHS still a test site for the November 7th?
As of now, yes. We haven't gotten any closures yet. Typically, if we get that information, it's posted on the main RISD website, but we'll share it. I send it through Blooms. I send that through Naviance. So if I get word that it's not, you'll know as soon as I do.
All right.
We had the October 3rd exam, so fingers crossed, we're moving on.
All right, and somebody's asking about that supplemental letter for the top 10%. Do they request that through you to get like an official?
If they were in the top 10%, they got that letter last year at the end of their junior year. If they have not, if they feel like they're in the top 10%, they need to go and see their counselor.
Even though that letter says not official?
I'm sorry, say that again?
If the letter says not, if this is not an official letter, that top 10% letter?
No, that the letter that they received from the district is an official letter saying that they are in the top 10%, and it lists their rank and it lists their GPA. Outside of the top 10% students, the district no longer ranks.
Okay.
So it's an official letter.
Okay. And then
I think what that parent may be talking about is an official transcript and an unofficial transcript. If your student is walking around with their transcript in their hand, that's an unofficial transcript. If we send it through electronically or in the mail and it's sealed by the school and it's stamped with our stamp, that is an official transcript. But if your child has their transcript in their hand, that's an unofficial transcript. And a lot of Texas universities are now requiring that students, that students apply to college with their SRAR report, and that's self-reporting. And I can send your student an unofficial transcript for them to report their grades. But that is a request that you'll make to me via email.
okay. What about ACT getting their scores, and where do they find their ACT ID?
I just sent an email about that today. I do not have access to any ACT ID numbers. They just got their score sent to them today. If they created an account and they can remember their login information, they can check the email that I just sent out and they can get their ACT scores that way. At the end of the week, every student is going to have their ACT ID in the mailbox anyway. Once I have access to it, which is probably another 3 to 4 weeks, if your student hasn't gotten that information, they can come and get their ACT ID from me. But I have to wait until students who had accommodations are graded, because they send the report to us all at one time. And that's another reminder. If your student did have accommodations, they won't have their scores in their email with the first batch of scores that came out. They're going to have to wait because it takes additional time to grade those exams.
On Blooms today, someone says the notification said Naviance closes November 13th. How long is that for, and what does that mean?
Okay, so November 13th is a week before we close out for the Thanksgiving holiday. Transcript requests can no longer be made after November 13th. If you have a December 1st deadline, you need to make sure your request for transcript gets sent by November 6th. Because on November 13th, I shut Naviance down, because if I don't, the transcript office will be here until midnight on March 12th. So we have to allow them time to process your transcript. So Naviance is shut down on November 13th. It will come back up when we return on November 30th. And then students can start making their requests. But again, if you're looking at a December 1st deadline, we need at least 3, maximum 4 or 5 weeks to process your transcript. It's a busy time of year. And for your transcript to show up at your campus, your college campus, we need 4 weeks. You need to make your request for December 1st deadlines by November 6th.
Do you have deadlines then for the rest for like January?
Do I have them?
Like, no, like, do you have a date, like if the January 1st deadline, when you need to have your transcript request done?
They need 4 weeks. So I would say we're off for the 21st through the 1st. So 1, 2, 3, 4. November 30th, they need to make their transcript requests for any January 5th deadlines.
Okay, and then someone's asking about, okay, where do you, Desi, do you have a question on your end? While I keep looking in the, oh, no. Okay, so for Dallas County Promise, does students send the app transcript and test scores to the school? But how does the school know the student is part of Dallas County Promise?
So as soon as they have pledged, they get a pledge ID, and that pledge ID stays with that student to complete the process. So the first initial process is just for you to do the pledge and get your pledge ID. If you know for a fact that you're planning to take the pledge and you're going to utilize the funds through pledge, your next step is to do your financial aid application, and then you need to make sure you enroll in one of the Promise campuses. They will know because they will see your pledge ID linked with your name. And the pledge process, what was the question about, the first question?
How does the student send their app transcript and test
Oh, yeah.
scores to the school?
So the application for college is just go to the regular college website and apply. And when, like I said, when your name matches with your, they'll take your name and match that with your pledge ID. Your transcript will be sent automatically at the end of the year. RHS will send your transcript for free to any pledged campuses.
And then someone had a question of, they saw somewhere that it was required for every student to do FAFSA. Is that still a requirement, and why?
It's still a requirement because as of starting next year, it is a mandate for the state of Texas. And we're trying to get parents to, I don't want to say fall in line, but just kind of utilize the resources. And I think that a lot of parents automatically say, me and my husband work, or me and my household makes over a certain amount, so I know I'm not going to qualify for grants. And that is fine. But I always tell parents, where grants fall off, scholarships kick in. And if my student is making a 90 or above, it's 90% chance that he or she is going to receive a scholarship. Where grants fall off, scholarships kick in. And if your student is attending a public university, they are using federal funds to give your student a scholarship. And at the end of the day, the FAFSA is going to be required. And I think that the district has mandated it now because a lot of those students who qualify for scholarships end up losing that scholarship money because they wait until someone at the college tells them, oh, you have to do your FAFSA, and that scholarship money is gone because it goes just as fast as grant money. So they need to do their FAFSA prior to leaving high school.
And Ms. Clay?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is for public and private institutions. They
Okay.
require that FAFSA is completed. So especially when it comes down to scholarships, any grants, any merit-based scholarships in which the university can offer to a student, it has to be completed. So if there's receiving any kind of money from the university, it has to be completed. Even if a private organization sends money on behalf of a student, the Women's League sends money to a university for Elise Curry. Elise Curry cannot receive it if she has not completed that. So it's vital that they make sure that they have completed it. And that is one of the university's requirements, public or private.
And that's why we're using the term required, because our parents need to understand that don't wait until you get to the university for them to say, oh, you have to do it. That's why we're requiring that they do it now.
Okay, and a couple more questions. One was, how do you request a transcript?
Okay. So
Sorry, guys, yes, how do you request
everybody better get their pen and piece of paper. First, I've sent multiple emails, so I want my students to make sure they go and check their emails, and make sure that you as parents remind your students to check their emails frequently. Here lately, I started sending an update every week, every other week, letting the students know this is what you missed. If you didn't do it yet, you need to make sure that you've done X, Y, Z. Transcripts, it's a 3-step process. The first step requires your parents' permission for RHS to release your transcript. 90% of the seniors who are requesting applications have already done that. If you try to go and request your transcript and it says that your parent hasn't done their part yet, send me an email. Step 2 is for your student to go into Naviance and request their transcript online. If that student has not added the college to their Naviance account, they can't request a transcript. That's why we move colleges from colleges I'm thinking about to colleges I'm applying to on Naviance as a senior. Now that those colleges that I'm applying to are on your page, you can go in and request a transcript for whichever college you finished the application for. Third is to do the Google form request, and that was sent in the email that I sent with the 3-step transcript process. And rule of thumb, please don't request any transcripts for colleges that you have not finished your application for. You have to finish the application first. If I send a transcript and there's no application to match it with, your transcript is going to get sent back. It's going to take 3 days for it to come back, 4 days for us to send it back saying, yes, this is a student who requested it. And then another 3 days for you to say, oops, I haven't finished my application. It's going to turn a 3-day process into a 3-week process. Finish your application first and then request your transcript.
And just one additional piece before we leave off of transcripts. At the end of the year, when a student receives their high school diploma, we will put information in there to help parents and help the students to request a final transcript. Because with the college, until they receive your final transcript stating that you have officially graduated, they cannot officially admit you into their university. So that information, we will include it. We will share that through the counselor sending out information on it. But as an added piece, a little reminder, we will also put it in the envelope in which they receive their diploma.
All right, a parent's asking, how do we know if our parent form is on file with you, Ms. Clay?
Our parent what?
If their parent form is on file, how can they confirm?
I can check if they send me an email tomorrow.
Okay, and then another one is, how can we confirm that a transcript has been sent to the college that was applied at?
So when a student does an application for a college, they get a portal ID, so a username and a password for that particular college. So if I'm applying to A&M, I get a portal to go and check my A&M portal to see if my application has been received, if my transcript's been sent, am I missing any letters of recommendation, did my ACT scores post with my account. So if they are asking to check to see if their college received their transcript, it is by them going into their portal to see what else is needed to make that application complete.
And is there a deadline for FAFSA?
Yes, January 15th is our priority deadline. And what that means is that I want to be first in line for any scholarships. I want to be first in line for any grants. And your loans are going to be given to you based on your family's income. But when it comes to grants, scholarships, and work study, I want to be first in line. January 15th is your priority deadline.
And someone's asking about, I think it's TAFSA, the difference between FAFSA and TAFSA.
So the difference between TAFSA and FAFSA is that if I don't have a social security number, I am probably going to do the TAFSA. It is a Texas application for college funds. So the FAFSA is federal money. TAFSA is for Texas colleges. So if you're not sure if you do FAFSA or TAFSA, come see Ms. Clay or Mr. Ibarra, and we'll verify which one you're supposed to do. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean if I don't have a social, but that is a good guideline to use, knowing which one I may be going towards. And TASFA is a paper application that has to be mailed to the campuses, and Richardson High School takes care of all of their TASFA applications. We send the application certified to make sure that whatever campus we're sending it to, we get a signature to make sure our kids are taken care of.
Someone's asking, do you do both for Texas schools or just one or the other?
You either do the FAFSA or the TASFA.
Just one or the other. Okay.
Just one or the other, not both.
Okay. And then also, when talking about your portal ID for colleges, do colleges provide that to you even if you've applied through the Common App?
No, you'll use your Common App as your, have they received everything that they need?
Okay. And then, so someone's confirming if any scholarships are applied for or granted, FAFSA needs to be completed. I think that is a yes.
That is correct.
Yes. And then someone saying that you sent an email today saying that scores for ACT went out today. Yes. All right. And then this other one.
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. And then do you have that Bloom's login in case anybody doesn't have it that they can, that I can
It's on my
put in the
hub,
chat?
it's on my hub page and on my RISD page.
Okay. If it takes 4 weeks for a transcript request, can a student request a transcript a few days before completing the application? I'm thinking of a December 1st deadline situations coming up fast. If 2020, yes, that's it, coming up fast. So if they, if it's last minute, what should they do?
So you're asking me if they didn't submit their transcript request on time?
Yes.
Nothing.
Well, more so, I have the same question, and maybe so more so, because you were saying that you shouldn't submit the transcript request before you've done the application, but that December 1st deadline's coming up. So can they submit that transcript request as they're working on these applications?
No, they need to finish their application first.
Okay.
So so the application, I think that some students and parents may think that my application needs to be complete, and making the application complete means I have my scores and everything that's ready to go. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can submit your application and provide the additional information to make the application complete. You can submit it now and complete it later, but the submission of your application needs to be there so that when we send your transcript, there's something to match it with. Or if ACT or SAC sends your scores, there's an application to match it with. Does that make sense?
Yes, now it does. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And do colleges need the transcript before the deadline that the application's due to them?
And see, that's another rule of thumb. When you submit your application, now you can contact the admissions office and talk to them about your application process. I'm waiting for my ACT scores to come in. They're not here yet, but my application deadline is December 1st. No problem. We'll go ahead and, excuse me, we'll go ahead and close your application out so that it'll be complete. And once you get your scores, we'll match it with it so that you don't miss a deadline. But again, that's up to the college, and 90% of Texas universities and Oklahoma, Arkansas, and another one out of state, but they will allow you to submit your application and provide the additional required documents to make your application complete, but they won't hold you and say you missed a deadline because they were waiting for your ACT scores. Now your transcript is a different process, because your transcript is available to you your junior year. When you start your senior year, there's no holdup on getting that. That's why a lot of students do early action, because they're working on their applications as soon as school starts and they submit their transcript request. But if you're waiting like on an SAT or ACT score, the colleges are being more lenient about what considers your application complete.
All right, and someone's asking if they've been laid off during COVID and the FAFSA. A couple of families have asked this, and FAFSA is not going to show that loss of income this year. How should they go about noting this on FAFSA or talking to the university?
Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and do your FAFSA. You'll do it with your 2019 taxes. After you've done your FAFSA, you will provide a supplement letter to your university that you know your student may be going to, and be prepared to talk to the financial aid office and provide documentation of my husband or I was laid off. Here's the letter, some form of documentation saying that I don't have this job anymore, something from the unemployment office, something of that nature, so they can see that your family income has changed dramatically since 2019 taxes. So you'll just need to provide that additional information to the admissions office of your campus.
All right. Someone saying that they lost the GPA ranked paper that was mailed in the spring with summer and school.
They need to contact their counselor. Their counselor will help them
Counselor.
with an additional letter.
Thank you.
I have a question, a little bit of different topic. Will they be taking the U.S. History STAR, since that is generally a junior test? Is that in December, and will they do some sort of refresher before it?
Ms. Curry, that's you.
Okay, so the U.S. History is a junior exam, usually taken during their junior year. The rule from the state was if they pass the U.S. History class in the spring that they were in, they will not have to test. They are exempt from taking the U.S. History STAR test. So if they pass the U.S. History, but if they were not in a U.S. History class and they're currently taking it, they will not actually take that test until the spring. They will not take it in December, because December is a makeup retest date, not initial test date. Does that answer the question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I have another one that talks about, I lost it. If you have any type of, okay, well, that's okay. If you have any type of like checklist or things with dates on it, like not just a calendar, but like a checklist of things that people or parents or students should be doing in their process of applying for colleges.
And you guys, I found the Blooms link. So if anyone needs Blooms, that's a text messaging system that I use to remind students and parents of upcoming dates, just reminders, that sort of thing. So if you need to join Blooms, it's there. No, I don't have a checklist. I was going to create one, but everything kept changing so dramatically. So no, I don't have one, but again, parents can check in with me